What are your impressions of them so far? Because for me, I don't know. I buy the Ravens. I think the Chiefs exposed them, a way to beat them. But I think other than that, the Ravens look like a really good team. I'm not so sure I buy the Steelers because, like, I mean, they played the New York Giants, Denver Broncos, the Houston Texans. Some of the worst teams in the league. The Broncos were supposed to be good this year, but then they had all those injuries, and they are not. And the only game they won by more than a touchdown was the Giants in Week 1, 26-16. But they have not been. I don't know. They're undefeated. You can't say anything about that. They're definitely undefeated. There's no two ways about that one. But I have not been convinced by any of their wins so far. They got the Eagles coming up, and that's not anything particularly special. I think they're gonna actually have a rude awakening when they play the Browns in Week 6. And I think I could be wrong, but I think you guys are going to hand them a day. I think the Browns are going to destroy the Steelers in Week 6.
I think the Steelers have been product of an easy schedule. So I completely agree with you. I 1,000% agree with you. Yeah. I'm looking at the schedule. The Steelers, who do they play? You play the Giants, right?
Yeah.
Daniel Jones. Big whoopee do, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, all right, so then Saquon Barkley doesn't do anything in that game. Defense was impressive that game against Saquon Barkley, I guess. They only beat them. They beat them by 10 points. But then they played Denver, right? They played Denver at home. They only win by 5 against Denver.
Was Denver still playing Drew Lock at that point, or had he already gotten hurt?
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure they're still playing Drew Lock, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So they played Denver. Denver's 1-3 right now. They're in the AFC West. And then they play Houston, who's 0-4 right now, who fired their coach. So
because the coach was such a cancer, and even then the Texans played him close.
So the Steelers have beat 3 out of probably 7 of the worst teams in the NFL. Yeah. That's who they beat. And you know what? The teams that they beat are actually worse than the teams that the Browns and the Bengals beat, actually. Because I think that the Cowboys and the Washington football team, and even the Bengals, are better teams than every single one of the teams that the Steelers beat. The Steelers have literally played nobody but very good college football teams.
I think that Pittsburgh pass rush is going to keep them, like, when they do start playing good teams. Like I said, after the Eagles, they got the Browns, they got the Titans, which they were supposed to already play, but that's a whole other thing. They got the Ravens, Cowboys, they got the Bengals, Jaguars. Oh my God, they might make the playoffs this year just based on the schedule. What is this? They play nobody except for AFC North teams.
And then they literally played nobody.
Yeah, I mean their schedule is even easier than ours. Like, I mean,
the hardest team they play outside of the hardest team that they play outside the division. I was gonna say Buffalo.
Oh yeah, they do. I totally missed Buffalo. Buffalo is definitely the best.
But I'm with you, man. I think if the Browns win this week, they're winning next week. I just don't think the Steelers is as good as advertised right now. I guess Deshaun, Houston, we should give Houston some credit because Houston does have J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson, but there's problems with Houston from top to bottom. There's obviously dysfunction there. So beating Houston isn't, we got to give them credit to 3-0, but I thought they was going to get exposed this weekend by Tennessee, who I did just rack on Tennessee, but this was pre-COVID Tennessee. Pre-COVID Tennessee scares me. Post-COVID Tennessee don't. It's a virus, man. Like, you have a virus. You can't practice for 2 straight weeks. Like, you can't not practice for 2 straight weeks of football.
That's going to be a problem, right?
That's going to be a huge problem for Tennessee. Tennessee is not going to be the same team when they come back. So there's that. But apart from that, they haven't really played anybody.
Yeah, well, they haven't played anybody. The problem is they're not going to play anybody. So
yeah, no,
they might be a playoff team this year just by dint of who they played.
Well, that's why I think. Yeah. Yeah. So
Hey, who knows? Maybe I think the Browns are going to take him to school. I think the
Eagles will give them a tough game. Eagles will give them a tough game. I think Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz is under a lot of pressure this game, but